Welcome, everybody, to this wonderful session for education for climate coalition at the COP27. My name is Jonas. I'm 27 years old. I'm a Climate Pact ambassador from Germany, currently living in Belgium, and I'm going to be your moderator for this session tonight. And I'm also joined by wonderful people that you will meet during the next sessions. And basically to give you a short overview how we're going to do this session. So this event is co-hosted by DG Climate from the European Commission and the JRC, the Joint Research Center. And basically what we want to do today with you is we want to present you three great initiatives from Portugal, Spain, and Poland on climate education. And basically that's also the title of the session that we want to aim. Communities co-creating learning for climate resilience. And we want to have a look together, and especially that's also our main focus, to have an interactive session on the education for climate and the Climate Pact, and what we can do to make green education worthwhile. And with that, I actually want to start the first poll to see also where our viewers are joining us from today. And that's basically from where are you connecting today, so that we can also see who's joining and who's participating in the discussion. And yeah, basically what we want to cover also today is the three initiatives that are going to be presented. And we see already the first polls coming in: Belgium, Turkey, Italy. That's quite wonderful to see such an international group here as well. And basically also see how we can bring green climate education further in Europe. And with that, while waiting for a little bit more of the participants, Croatia, I see that as well, Čakovec. I want to give you also a short introduction on how we're gonna do the session today. You have the chance to ask your questions via Slido, via the poll. And basically, we're going to go through the three initiatives. They're going to present their great initiatives to make green education better in Europe. And then we have a really interactive discussion. So you can ask your question, and I will try to incorporate them in my moderation. And as I'm also not going to make this only about me, I want to also give you the chance to basically introduce the three initiatives before that. But we are also having a second poll, which is basically, who are you? And this also goes a bit more into the direction of which educational group you are coming from. Are you a student? Are you an educator? Are you an education stakeholder? Or are you just interested in climate education? Which is also quite interesting, because I'm also not an expert, but I'm just mostly interested in how green initiatives can make education better, because this is what it's all about, to basically improve also our opportunities that I didn't have when I was in school. And that's why I'm so happy to be here with these wonderful, enthusiastic people. And before we want to kick off with the first team, I'm just going to go through the last question that I want to know before we start, which is which education level are you interested in? Is it early childhood education, primary education, secondary, tertiary, or lifelong learning? Just having a quick look into that, and then we can basically hand over lifelong learning. That's of course wonderful, because that's what it's all about, to incorporate everything into our life. And yeah, basically with that, I can hand over the floor to our first group from Portugal. And I let them to basically explain what they've been doing, because I think that's the most valid point, to not taking somebody away. So I want to give the floor to Maria and Antonio. And I'm looking forward to your presentation and what you can tell us about your project and how we can improve climate education. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Jonas. Good afternoon, everyone. We are Maria and Antonio, as Jonas just said. And we would like to thank COP27 for the opportunity to present our project, Germinar Banco de Sementes, which translates to sprouting a seed bank. We will briefly present the project, its primary goals, the scales in which it acts, and how it links with the Green Comp's goals, ending with a brief conclusion. Germinar Banco de Sementes seeks to create a seed bank from the school space involving the local community. We aim to educate for active citizenship, construct a more aware society of its natural heritage, and use demetrialization mechanisms, collaborative economy, and sustainable consumption, which contribute to conserving the existing genetic heritage. Our project is structured in several activities, expanding from schools, working with students, teachers, and employees, to educators and the local community, or at the national level by free seed sharing. The project's primary goals are to raise awareness on the urgency of preserving and multiplying seeds and related environmental issues to foster active citizenship. And this first objective focuses on pedagogical aspects, the use of participation and co-responsibility methodologies, learning by doing and sharing. And it concurs with SGD 4, namely to all learners acquire the knowledge and skills needed to promote sustainable development. Sorry, just 1 second. Because, okay. You can click enter. Yeah. Yeah, it's difficult to. Okay. It also wants to promote critical and responsible consumption through circular economy practices and short-chain food supply. Students follow the whole plant growth process during their academic time until the seeds harvest. And while the lessons are focused on fundamental aspects of ecology, sustainability, environmental protection, and consumption. At the end of the school year, students produce their feast with vegetables and fruits grown, saving some seeds for the following year's students, reverting remaining to the seeds archive, and fostering a solidarity economy. The collection, production, and seed sharing contribute to the feasibility of SGD 2 as inscribed in the general objective, preservation of species diversity, and the creation of seed bank. The last one is the requalification of the school's playground by adding more green areas, contributing to the feasibility of SGD 15, and more specifically to halt the loss of biodiversity and protect and prevent the extinction of threatened species.
Thank you, Maria. On the action side, we work with 10 classes of the 2nd and 6th year students and their teachers in 5 different schools through fortnightly training and awareness raising actions. Students learn about plants, ecosystems, and agroecological topics as part of their teaching program. The project itself focuses on the seed, in particular on raising awareness of the accelerated loss of biodiversity and mechanisms of seed preservation, especially and ideally the traditional and local varieties. In order to address themes such as the environment, agrosystems, climate change, and systemic thinking, amongst many others. Our activities are predominantly structured in a practical way. So our goal is to provide students with action tools, be it to acquire knowledge, skills for action, or critical and even systemic thinking for transformative action. A lot of them possible to undertake in their daily routines, and that is our goal, to teach them in their schools, but for them to live it in their homes. The project also acts in their school playgrounds, improving the outdoor spaces, not only by constructing greenhouses for the sprouting seeds, but also by constructing raised beds in order to plant the vegetables that they will eat and then they will collect the seeds from. Engagement and co-creation is a very important part of this. So we basically involve the students in every part of the process, from the beginning of the design until the creation and then to the planting and harvest. This is really important for us. Besides hands-on activities, students also have scientific illustration lessons so that youngsters can also take a look closer at nature. And as well, artistic activities in which they decorate their tablecloth and construct their own plates for the final feast that they can do when they collect the plants in the end of the school year. Between schools and the community, the project also integrates ethnobotanical walks called Explorer of My Territory, where we basically have walks with expert botanists in order for the people to know their surroundings and their green spaces. As well, we also organize an open day every year for the parents and for the rest of the community to come to the schools and to help out in their schools with their children, to create more of this community feeling. At the national level, the project created and manages a seed archive, which is basically a physical repository and also in a digital fashion. So if you go to www.shudmina.pt, there you can basically request any seeds for free, which encourages the sharing and the propagation of many of these seeds, which are, in the cases, endangered, especially the local varieties. Based on our experiences, we are also compiling a manual with all of our activities, which is free on our website, in order for people or entities to replicate it in other communities. Our project was also integrated in the pedagogical days of environmental education here in Portugal, where we gathered 40 different teachers from all over the country to visit us and familiarize with our project and our methodologies. Now, analyzing the project at the light of the competencies, we basically fulfill almost all key aspects. So when we look at embodying sustainability values, in the valuing sustainability, we see the seed as a basis for the growth and the education, and from one seed grows a plant which can give more seeds. And this sustainable cycle, is something that we want to teach and to incorporate in the lives of our students. Supporting fairness as well, because the seed is a very good element for us to have trades between, for example, the younger kids and the elderly people in the community. So it is a very good tool to not only promote the fairness, but also to integrate more people. And of course, promoting nature, with all of the constructions in the playgrounds, focus on nature, and our willingness to bring the students to teach them in the outside area of the schools, really promotes this contact with nature, which we think is fundamental. Now, at embracing complexity in sustainability, system thinking is important for us. We really think that the students have to think in a more holistic fashion and integrate the various elements that they are taught of at schools, just like nature does. Problem framing as well. We try to give the context of the whole situation and the whole process and the whole problem related to climate change and others, but we also try to give them tools to address this problem and to be healthy and mindful people in the community that can really take action on this. Lastly, in the envision sustainable futures, future literacy is very important for us as well, because we are trying to give them the tools to create the scenario that we envision in the future, which is green spaces for education, community, and biodiversity. And as well, exploratory thinking. When we have these kind of classes in the outdoors, we'll leave the students to have questions, to think, and to address some things that they are curious about, and the teacher also is basically a vehicle to help them get those answers. Finally, collective action and individual initiatives. So we try to implement and to teach them various techniques, not only social, but also ecological in our classes, which comes to the more collective action. But at the end of the day, we as individuals have to be aware and responsible. So individual initiative is something that we also try to promote in the classes, but as well in their homes with their parents, because life is all of this, the classes, the living at home with their parents, and much more.
Now, as final remarks, we'd like to say that this project is only possible with a strong partnership community. In 2019, and by the voice of the Padre Bartolomeu de Guzmão Group Director, Jorge Nascimento, who immediately accepted the idea, we designed the project to work with 11 classes in 2 schools. Also, the National Seed Bank, AEL Bel Correia, integrated this first group. Moreover, since 2021, we have started working with 3 other schools from the Manuel da Maia School Group, and some research groups have paid an outstanding contribution to the dynamization of activities according to their deep academic knowledge, such as the Reseed Rescuing Seeds Heritage from the University of Coimbra. You can enter. And Caravana Agroecológica, University of Lisbon. Support in hosting spaces or goods is also essential to improving schools' infrastructures and activities. We thank them all. For the second time in 3 years, the Lisbon City Council finances the project under the program BIP-ZIP. As final remarks, let's just say that this kind of project should be lifelong learning and implemented in national policy making. However, that while there's no such opportunity, at least in the Portuguese context, it is crucial to refer the two weaknesses of our project. First, it relies on funding and often short time, 1 or 2 years in short time funding in comparison to nature-based solution times. And not being able to achieve the entire student targets as we would like, we work with less than 19% of the students of these 5 schools throughout the school year. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, guys. It was wonderful to listen to you. And I'm really actually excited also to find out more about that. Because I think it's super crucial that what you just said, it's to build up basically a future literacy and to basically also go into a lifelong learning curve where you build up participatory green approaches. And that's why I'm really happy that actually you also had the chance to present your project today, because I think that's the initiatives that really count and that make our planet better in the future. So also from my point of view as a young person, I hope that your children and your scholars are as happy as I am when I listen to you. And we will have the chance to also look for some questions from the audience later. So thanks a lot for that. I think a great kickoff to basically start the session. And with that, I want to come to the second initiative that we are currently having here in the room, and that is going to be presented by Ana Belén and by Sal Romero from Spain. And yeah, I'm hoping that you're gonna have as much fun as the first group. So really looking forward to give you the floor. And just as a remark, please unmute yourself to present, and good luck with your presentation, and looking forward to hear what you have been achieving with your project.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Our project, Glue Glue, is an interdisciplinary project that involves several subjects such as new technologies and environmental science. And it has been carried out by a group of 16 students from the last year of high school. This project aims to raise awareness among the population through the creation of the Glue Glue mobile app, which generates a notification when the person is in an area that will be flooded by the sea in the year 2100. When you click on this notification, the app takes you to a web page designed to provide more information about climate change. Next, please. As everybody knows, climate change is the global change in the Earth's climate. This variation is due to natural causes and the action of man, and occurs on all climatic parameters and very different time scales. Already in 2001, the third assessment report of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change pointed out several evidences of the system of current climate change and the impacts derived from it. Among others, the sea level has risen from 10 to 12 centimeters, and researchers believe that this is due to the melting of glaciers and the expansion of warmer oceans, and will continue to increase in the years to come. This increase in sea level will cause the disappearance of beaches, marshes, wetlands, coastal flooding, coastal erosion, storms, intrusion of brackish waters. The reduction in the area of beaches will affect urban infrastructure and damage tourism. In short, the lower-lying coastal areas will necessarily be the most affected, and they include numerous protected natural species and also large concentrations of people, as is in the case in our country, Spain. And now I pass the floor to my student, Saul.
Hello everyone. I'm Saul, and I'm going to explain the part of the project. So this project aims to make the population aware of one of the most notable effects of climate change. So the rise in sea level. For this reason, a mobile application has been designed that generates a notification when the person in question is in an area that will be flooded by the sea in the year 2100. Our hypothesis is that since today we are literally glued to the mobile, if people install the application, they will be more aware of the effects of climate change and will take action to try and mitigate it. It is intended to create environment awareness. So can you pass the presentation? Okay. Two main activities have been carried out in parallel to develop this project, which began in January 2022. On the one hand, a mobile application has been created using a free program developed by Google called Android Studio ArcticFox. This program is based on a Java programming language, and two types of files have been handled. First, files created by the visual aspect. All the images that appear, moving or not, have been created using the Canva, that application of design and simplified graphic design software and website tools. The second files created to get the position and set actions passed on it. In these files, the application has been programmed to be able to take the position of the latitude through a network position of your device through the internet connection. Once of the application has been programmed to determine your position in real time, the action has been stabilized. Issue a notification if you are below sea level in 2100. By clicking on set notification, you access a specific web page created by us. Yes, the web page has been created using Google Sites, which is a free online application offered by Google. This page has been configured to offer information about what climate change is, what its causes are, consequences, and what we can do about it. Different sections about stabilized forces with links to different government pages, videos, and interactive activities. Can you pass the presentation to the next? No. Hello? Yes.
Is the slide before, please? Thank you.
What? I have a bad connection right now. Now?
We can hear you, Saul. Don't worry.
I have a bad connection. Can you hear?
I can continue, Saul, if you want.
Oh, okay. I have a bad connection. Right.
Don't worry.
Okay.
So the results, the work team is very happy and proud of the results obtained, the application design and the website created. The application has been distributed to people known to us and who live in coastal areas. They expect that it works correctly, and they think it's a great idea to make the population aware of climate change. In addition, after answering a questionnaire about it, they point out as a strong point that it works anywhere on the planet and not only in our country. Also, noteworthy is the attractive design and organization of information. In our project in particular, quantitative results cannot be obtained in the traditional style, but the results will have to be evaluated based on the number of downloads of the application, which has been hosted in the Google Drive Cloud, and the number of visits received. In order to analyze user behavior on the website, we have started to measure and analyze different events on the page, such as video views, clicks on links, clicks on buttons. The tracking is done thanks to Google Tag Manage tool, whose results are obtained in Google Analytics. In addition, to keep track of the number of downloads, Bitly has been used. Nowadays, we have 254 downloads from other parts of the world, such as United States, Poland, and Austria. Next, please. The project has taken us longer than initially planned. It has been 5 months of work, and several modifications have been made to the original idea, as we encounter problems in the process of creating the application. For example, the 16 mistake in the programming language. We know that there are coastal risk detection tools, maps, and graphs to try to make the population aware of the environmental problems, but you don't know access them unless you look for them directly or because you find some news about it. With this application installed on your mobile phone, it's information that is looking for you instead of you looking for it. We carry our mobile phone with us most of the time. According with the studies, we spend an average of 4.8 hours a day with the phone. If you pass through an area that will be flowing in the near future by the sea, you will know in less than 24 hours. Next, please. The next step is to include in the application and in the website the translation into several languages to encourage its download and use throughout the world. Similarly, other types of notification related to different consequences of climate change could be included, and not only with the rise in sea level. Like this, it's intended to create the application compatible with the iOS operating system. This is currently only works on Android. Next, please. As a main conclusion, we highlight the importance of bringing information to the population through tools such as the mobile phone, essential today for multiple tasks, being together with the house keys, the object that we all check to carry before leaving. If you want to send a message to the population effectively about the need to change our habits to care for and protect the planet, and also ensure that it reaches the majority of people, a mobile application is an effective means of doing so. So there you have the QR code. You can scan it and trust the source to install the app. We are not hackers. After that, and before open the application, this is very important, before open the application, press the icon for a few seconds. A configuration window will open, and please allow it to access your location, and finally it works. You can know more about climate change and its consequences. So thank you very much, and it's a pleasure to be here with you.
Thanks a lot to both of you. It was really nice and really interesting. Also, what I really love about this format that we're having here is like the combination of Climate Pact ambassadors, education for climate, and of course students and teachers presenting that, because I think only that we can bring climate education forward with both sides, so basically with students and with teachers. So thanks a lot to both of you. Now we're coming to the third initiative. which is where we're switching a little bit the country context from more like Portugal and Spain to Poland. And I would love to invite Joanna and Agnieszka to present their initiative. And I'm pretty sure that it will be as amazing as the first two. And afterwards, we want to obviously go into the more interactive part. So please prepare your questions as well. And you can always post them on Slido already. And I will try to take them up and discuss them as well here in the panel, as well as with the speakers, so that you can also hear their opinion on your ideas. And with that, I want to give the floor to Joanna and Agnieszka.
Hello. My name is Joanna, and I would like to present to you our project Eco Experimentarium. Can you show my slides? Yeah, here you see my team, Mamy Projekt, and our goal is to make big-scale, engaging educational projects via games, books, guides, exhibitions. Next slide, please. Yeah, in 2018, we made an exhibition for COP24 conference, and during many months in Katowice, there was a space where you could come, sit on a sofa, catch energy hogs. In the bedroom, you could see how to have less things, and there was tips of saving water in the kitchen, in which you could experiment with less waste life hacks. Next slide, please. We wanted to make a space that would be funny and involving, engaging. We were showing small steps, small actions to be taken today at home, because we wanted to empower people and help them, not to scare them. Next slide, please. Every piece of knowledge was very carefully selected on its relevance and importance in our everyday life. It was then double-checked by scientists and put in simple way by illustrators and copywriters to make it easy, to make a good vibe about that. The exhibition traveled to then from Katowice to one more city, and then next slide, please. Then the COVID hit, and we couldn't travel anymore. We couldn't go to people anymore, so we had either just stop it or go online. And then we decided to make an online game. Can I see the next slide, please? Next slide. Yeah, so this is our online game for kids 5 to 11. We were at home closed with those our kids. And we designed an online home in family. There's 5 rooms, and in each there are various simple funny games that make for a complete room altogether. So each room can be played during one lesson or at home in about 25 minutes. The game is totally safe. It's available online without downloading, no apps, no logging in, no giving your data, because it's for small kids. So the best of all that is that it's for free, and it's thanks to funding that we get from institutions and private companies. Yeah, and this slide you can see that there are rooms about water, consumerism, resources, recycling, biodiversity. By now there's 5, and we're working on the next ones. Yeah, thank you. So Eco Experimentarium didn't just happen. It was quite a job. We're trying to make the program each year better. Now we're gonna have our 2nd birthday. We want to make it attractive to everyone. So we provide lesson scenarios, worksheets. There's a newsletter, Facebook group, contests, extra Christmas activities, articles. We run an ongoing evaluation program. So every teacher can respond to some questions and get a diploma in recognition of their merits. And also students get diplomas for their merits on learning about climate. Right now, Eco Experimentarium is wide known in Poland. Last year we had 750,000 gay players, and that finally our exhibition could come back we're very happy. Today we opened the third exhibition this year, because we were in Gdynia, then in Breslau, and today we opened in Warsaw. And this exhibition has traveling planned for a year ahead. We're super proud about that. And can I see the next slide, please? So we want to make sure that we get to every group, not only to little children. So we're working on a program for children 12 to 18, more comic-y, more fun, and we're just working on it. And I think that this month it will be, the pilot of it will be on, again, online and for free. And keep your fingers crossed for us, because it's a difficult task. And you know, we want to make sure that that education is available to everyone. So if you like what you see, if there is something that you think you could use in your country, just don't hesitate to write to us. This program can totally be done in any language, so maybe we could do something together. Even today I was talking about the possibility of co-working and translating it to other languages with France. Next slide, please. So this program is for everyone, and especially we're trying to get to teachers, because we believe that one teacher can get to many children. So we want to collaborate with them. We are always in touch with them. And every day we are super amazed how many teachers makes time and makes this effort for Eco-Experimentarium, because this is not obligatory in curriculum. They just do it because they want to. One of these teachers is Agnieszka Halicka. She's an educational influencer and a very special teacher who helped us to build the project, and she supports us constantly. So I would like to ask Agnieszka to say a few words about Eco-Experimentarium.
Of course, with biggest pleasure. Thank you, Joanna, very much for inviting me to this wonderful project. And I love being your fairy godmother. Thank you for your nice words. I really think that this project is one of the best projects I have ever seen. And I think that green education is very important for all of us. And even if a school curriculum doesn't put enough stress on it, we want to teach about it in our classrooms, in our schools. Eco-Experimentarium offers us a simple, well thought out tool to make lessons more attractive and fun. Kids love the play and learn attitude, and teachers appreciate the simplicity and extra materials offered for free. And I think that it's really important to say it once again and once again, it's completely for free. It's innovative, very adaptable to everyone's needs. And of course, for one more time, it's completely for free. And could you ask for more from the project? If green education is done in ways as attractive as those three you are presenting here today, Maria, Anna, and Joanna, there is still hope for the future. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much for everything you are doing all the time.
I think that is a perfect closing word, and thank you so much for your enthusiasm, both of you, and of course all the three initiatives. And I really like what you're doing there, and I think this is actually also what basically the Climate Pact and the Education for Climate project is all about, like participatory approaches, and to basically work on the ground, because you are the people who are basically like making a big change for future generations in green education, and I think that's totally crucial. And now we want to actually come also to the interactive part. So we already have the first questions, and I'm really like looking forward to your answers as well, as what you can report from your project as well. So the first one that I'm already seeing is, and that's a question directed to students as well as teachers. how did it make you feel to be part of your project? So I'm really like interested to hear what you have to say about. Maybe we can start with Maria and Antonio to describe a little bit how basically it was to be part of that project and what it did teach you as well.
Thank you, Jonas, for the question. I'll answer for Maria as well. We really think education is key. So being professor or an educator is one of the most incredible jobs in the world, or it should be, in terms of the impact that it has for the community. So we really enjoy our work and our participation with this, working with young children, because as you've said before, they are really the future, and that's important for us to never forget. It is very challenging as well, so it's not always roses, as you say in Portuguese. But the reality is, it is really, really important. And we have to have in our minds that the goal is something that sometimes we do not see it as close as we would wish it. So it is something that it takes time, but as nature takes time, it's something that we have to accept, continue to work, and continue to try to inspire as much people as we can, both the students and the professors and our colleagues and us as well, because as them, we are always also learning. This is our second version of this project, so we've learned from the first one. Maybe in the future, if there is another one, we'll have more lessons learned to do so. So it's a really big pleasure for us, and we feel really rewarded to be able to have these kinds of opportunities to live and to work with. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I think also like what I found really crucial in your answer as well and really inspiring is like the reward that you have been talking about and how it basically pays back, because you see how your students as well are seeing directly the impact that you're making and how you are then involving them in such an interactive approach. Anna and maybe also Saul, what about you? What did you learn in the project, and what did you like also maybe about the project as well so much as a payback?
Well, I can't be happier. Every year, I try to do a project with my students before they finish high school. I try to present them a real problem. I encourage group work and do practical activities. And I think we have to call for the action or more with the teenagers. And we have to promote to take care from the environment, not only to celebrate some specific days to take care about the nature. No, we have to protect them all the days, and this is what I want to transmit to my students. And with this kind of project, we can work during all the year, and I think they are very enthusiastic with the idea that they can help to the real world. They can solve a problem with idea, and we develop together.
And in my case, I have to say that we have a very fantastic teacher, like it's Anna, and she helped us to do a lot of projects in the year, because she wants to prepare us to the university, but also for doing activities that are not usually in the high school. For example, this project, and I feel very grateful with my classmates, because we do the project I think very quickly, like the project was, because it was a very difficult project that it need a lot of help for too many teachers, like the teacher of technology helped us a lot, and it was a great experience, and I will record it for all my life, I think, and that's it.
Yeah, that sounds amazing, and I think also Anna must be pretty proud to hear from her student these wonderful words of how it shaped also his future. And I think that's kind of like also what we're looking forward to with like all your projects, and I hope they all like get the success and especially also the awareness that they deserve. But I also want to ask Joanna, how do you see it? Like, what was it? How was it for you? And especially also like, how did you feel during the project phase?
Well, me and my team felt scared before we started to make this, because we don't know how to program games. We know nothing about that. But we've hacked a system. We found a way. So we've learned that everything can be done if you really want to. And there is another thing that we've learned, that even if the authorities of the country don't put enough stress on educational climate, even if the general climate is not good to the climate education, sometimes there are always people who want to teach about that, and finding all these teachers, the thousands of teachers who want to make time for the educational, for the climate education. Well, meeting them was a great thing, and I think that this can happen in any country. But even if in the countries of our listeners at the moment there's not enough of climate education, there are always people who want to do it. From the downside, you know, from the ground. So it's worth to talk to them. It's worth to do things for them.
No, exactly, and I also experienced that in my context, for example. But I'm really happy that you're also like putting that up, that it's not that easy, and especially that from civil society there needs to come a big movement to actually move political decisions forward, and to actually also invest more into climate education, because I think also that teachers are some of the most important actors in our society, because they're having such a huge impact on generations of people, and especially with climate. I think it's vital that we also like get more climate education projects, as these three wonderful initiatives that you have been implementing, to the forefront and to the ground. And basically, we already started that a little bit with Joanna at the end. And we have a question actually here. A person who wants to know if you faced any drawbacks or criticisms during the time, and especially from pupils. That would be also interesting, of course, during the implementation of your project. And maybe we can play the ball back to Anna, and then go to Maria and Antonio.
So thank you once again. Maybe I'll answer this because I'm more in the ground than Maria is nowadays. I would say that as in nature, there are always students that really love nature or to be in contact with them, and others not so much. Many of them is because they have never contacted with nature before, because in the urban areas, this is much more common than we think. But besides this, as many of them, we are able to show them possibilities of nature that they like and that they can incorporate in their life. So we do not expect each and every one of them to become a sustainable agriculture one day, but at least the majority of the lessons that we teach them, we want them to bring home. One thing that we find that is a challenge sometimes, and has to do a little bit with the criticism / how students and how communities are, is that sometimes we get some classes which have really bad behaved students, that usually it is much easier for the projects to get rid of and to get easier classes, to have easier students or more standard students. But in reality, these kind of projects are especially relevant for these students that are usually have bad grades or are not so well put in the class. So this is a balance, as usual. We have to do this balance between being able to teach classes and to send our message throughout the kids, but as well getting the respect in a mutual way and in a learning communication. So I would say that we as I started saying, we get some kids that are not super into it, are more into art, are more into engineering, but in reality, each of these elements cross one another. But in an overall way, it has been a really positive way for us, for the professors that get a little bit of a time off sometimes and get to have more contact with nature than they would in another way. So it has been really positive in our experience.
That sounds really great, and I hope that also like the drawbacks and the criticism make it still worth it to implement these projects, which I absolutely believe if I hear and listen to your presentations. Anna, what do you think? How are the? I mean, I see that Sarah is here, so you might have to be a little bit more flexible, but let me know what you think about it.
In our case, the student was in the last year of high school, so they have to pass an external exam to access university. So they didn't have enough time to develop the application. We spend most of the time during the classes, but sometimes they have to work at home, and this is the part that they didn't like so much because they have to spend time. And at first we thought that it would be easier than finally was, because there are a lot of YouTube tutorials about Android Studio, but finally we have to spend a lot of time, and I think this is the worst part of the project and the part that they feel discomfort.
Thanks a lot. That sounds lovely. Saul, do you have anything to add from the student perspective, maybe?
Do you want to explain the experience for my own?
Yes.
Well, for my own, I think that the project was such a challenge because it was like Anna said, we have to do.
I think he cut out, so let's wait for him. But maybe he can come back.
We all have a lot of exams. In Spain, yes, my connection. The exam to access to the university in Spain is very difficult, and we have to have a lot of time for us to study the other subjects. And well, I have a lot of work for home, and my other classmates too. So I don't have nothing more to say.
Thanks a lot. It's still super interesting what you said, especially because I think it's also what is an important point, that it's super critical that you also like get challenged in school to actually like achieve a learning process and then also see the success. We're almost unfortunately at the end, but I have one last question that I want to ask you, and I want to start with Joanna. What do you think? How well the Climate Pact is connected to other EU sustainability programs or outreach activities, and also like what is your opinion? I can also like say mine at the end, on how they are connected to the Education for Climate movement, and how can we actually improve that as citizens and governments to work better together. Maybe that as a final remark, and maybe stick to like a minute as a statement per group, so that we can basically wrap it up. And can thank you as well properly for all the work you're doing. So Joanna, what do you think?
We're super busy in doing our job, and I'm so happy that we can present the programs like ours to you, to the Climate Pact, to everyone, because I think that maybe we can share, or probably it's you who know better how well the Climate Pact and other programs are interconnected, and how to use us and our ideas and our work to spread the word about green education.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Joanna. I have my opinion on that, and I'm happy to share that with you, of course. Maybe Anna, what do you think in 1 minute? How can we basically improve to that citizens and governments work better together?
I think it's important to have a Climate Pact and the Climate Pact Ambassador group, because people think that in the school, for example, only the natural science teacher has to be worried about the environment, and the other teacher don't have to teach about sustainability in the subject. And I think it's good to show the rest of the college that everybody can teach about sustainability in the class, from any subject, economic or history or whatever. And I think it's important to show the others that we can do things, and students too, and you can involve all the community in a real problem, and it can help us.
Thanks a lot for your opinion on that. I really like that as well. Antonio and Maria, last comment from you. What do you think? I know it's a tough question to answer in 1 minute.
Yeah. We would say, as Joanna, we prefer to listen from you. Otherwise, as we mentioned in our presentation, of course, from the government, I think it's really important to consider this climate education part of the national policies, or the European Union policies. So starting by the basis and working with kids.
That's a wonderful closing statement. Working with kids, I think that's a really important point, actually, and also like involving young people in governmental decisions, for sure. From my perspective, I can just share it shortly. In the youth task force and the involvement, I think it's important to listen to young people, and of course, it's not always like that you could directly get away with everything. But I think to have a discussion with creative and to find creative and dynamic solutions, I think that's crucial. And basically, I'm also happy to, of course, discuss that with you after the session. I'm really happy that you joined me today. It was really wonderful and inspiring to listen to all of you and all the important work you're doing on the ground, because without that, everything politicians and people in Brussels would mean nothing if you don't have like these people working on the ground with these initiatives. And I think like bringing people together like here, that is the way forward, like to actually like listen to each other, to see what is happening on the ground. And I'm really happy that we had the chance today to join the first one as Education for Climate and the Climate Pact. I think these initiatives need to team up more for events and discussions like that. And basically, the last words I have to say is thank you to all of you, to the students, to the teachers that made these initiatives possible. And basically, what I just have to say to all the listeners, if you feel inspired, I want to invite you to join the community online, where you can also get in contact with these initiatives here. And basically, you can also follow the discussion there. There's a platform, and there you can exchange on opportunities. And with that, I want to close our session. I want to thank you to Portugal, Spain, and Poland for your great work on the ground. I hope you enjoyed the session as much as I did, and looking forward to discuss how we can bring it Europe-wide. And I'm really happy to also like the people in the background making all this session possible and giving you the space to show your initiatives, mainly Frederick, Tremor, and Susanna. And with that, I want to close the session and say thank you, and wish everyone a wonderful evening and a great time at COP to continue to discuss important initiatives like this. Thank you.